In this video, we will cover Gnome Screen Sharing on Oracle Linux and how to use it securely over an SSH tunnel. Oracle Linux ships with the Gnome graphical desktop environment and automatically installs the Gnome desktop during installation if you select either the server with GUI or workstation type. Gnome bundles a VNC server for sharing the desktop. We are using a VirtualBox image for this demo, but the same steps get performed using physical hardware. Log in to your desktop environment if not already done. Enable desktop sharing by clicking the Activities menu in the upper left corner or tapping your configured super key on your keyboard. The default super key in Gnome is the Windows key on modern PC keyboards. Start typing the word Settings in the search text field. Select the Settings icon or just hit Enter to open the Gnome Control Center. Use the navigation menus on the left and select Sharing. If you prefer a terminal, you can open the panel directly using the command gnome-control-center /sharing. You will see the screen sharing and remote login option. The remote login option is set to on as a default if you have SSH access enabled. Select screen sharing. In the pop-up window, select the options you want to enable. Checking Allow Connections to control the screen ensures you can remotely control the display. Unchecking this option only allows view-only access. Under Access Options, selecting New Connections Must Ask for Access will require physical access to the desktop you are sharing to grant access. When making a remote VNC connection, you get prompted on the remote display to approve access from a pop-up notification. Using Require a Password avoids this notification step. As I may not always have physical access to the remote desktop machine, I opt for the password option. Enter a password, and the VNC client will prompt the user for that password to gain access to the shared display. Toggle the slider at the top of the screen sharing panel from off to on. Flipping this toggle will start the screen sharing process. Flipping this toggle back to off will disable the screen sharing. Close the Gnome Control Center panels clicking the X in the upper right corner of each panel. Confirm the VNC process is running. From a terminal, type the command sudo space lsof space -i space -P space -n space pipe space grep space listen space pipe space grep space 59. The output in the terminal will display the Gnome remote desktop daemon process listening on port 5900. It is important to note that Vino encrypts the communication by default, thus requiring a compatible VNC client. Suggestions are SSVNC on Windows and Vinagre or Romina on Linux. Using a non-compatible VNC client will give the message, unable to connect to VNC server using your chosen security setting. For this video, I have elected to use Vinagre, which I have already installed. If not already installed, run the following command to install Vinagre on your Oracle Linux 8 client system. Sudo space dnf space install space Vinagre. If you are using a different Linux client, use your appropriate package manager such as yum or apt-get. Once installed, you can start the graphical client by running Vinagre from a terminal using Vinagre space ampersand. Using the ampersand at the end of the command sends the terminal process to the background and frees up the terminal for other commands. Before we make the connection, I always recommend connecting through a secure SSH tunnel. This extra step ensures you have a secure and trusted channel for your network communication with your VNC server regardless of whether or not it has encryption embedded in the VNC server. Open an SSH tunnel from a terminal with local port forwarding using the command SSH space -L space 5910 localhost 5900 space oracle at ol8-gnome. In the above, -L requests local port forward. 5910 is the port selected on the client side. Localhost 5900 is the host and port of your service on the remote server. Oracle at ol8-gnome is the username and host of the remote SSH server. This tunnel will let us connect locally to port 5910 using Vinagre. Traffic will then securely forward through the SSH connection to port 5900 on the local host of your SSH server within the OL8-GNOME host. Click Enter after the SSH command, and SSH will establish the tunnel connection. With the tunnel established, switch to the Benagre application and click the Connect button. Set the protocol list of values to VNC. Set the host to localhost:5910 based on our tunnel. I have left the other settings alone, but you can adjust as needed for your uses. Click the Connect button. If you did not set a password when setting up the screen sharing, then you will need to log into your physical GNOME desktop and accept the remote access notification. If you set a password, then Benagre will prompt you for the password. Enter the password and click the Authenticate button. You successfully connected to your GNOME desktop. The GNOME remote desktop indicates a remote session is active with an icon in the upper right menu tray. In Benagre, you can click to disconnect the current connection to close your VNC session. On the physical GNOME desktop, you will see the active session icon disappear. That concludes our demo of using GNOME Screen Sharing.